Hello everyone, I'm Noel, working as an assistant professor in physics, SNH department. In this video, let us discuss working of formation and working and VI characteristics of PN junction diode. Anyhow, this is second lecture in semiconductors. So in previous lecture, already we discussed about semiconductors and the classification of semiconductors, that is intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductors, and in intrinsic again in extrinsic semiconductors p-type and n-type semiconductors, and what are p-type, what are n-type semiconductors, and what are energy level diagrams. These all things already we discussed. Now let us see, in today's class we are going to discuss about formation of PN junction diode and working of PN junction diode, VI characteristics of PN junction diode, and some applications of PN junction diode. Without delay, let us see about formation of PN junction diode. Now, when it comes to the PN junction diode, already in previous class we discussed about p-type and n-type semiconductors. P-type and n-type semiconductors are nothing but extrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors are nothing but impure semiconductors. That is, when we add some impurities like trivalent impurities and pentavalent impurities. Trivalent impurities are nothing but third group elements like boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium, and pentavalent impurities, fifth group elements. When we add nitrogen, phosphorus, we are going to get n-type semiconductors. By adding pentavalent impurities, we will get n-type semiconductors. By adding trivalent impurities, we will get p-type semiconductors. That means by adding impurities to the pure semiconductor. Now, we are going to discuss about PN junction diode. PN junction diode is a basic device in semiconductors. Again, I repeat, PN junction diode is a basic device in semiconductors. Now, let us see what is PN junction diode. Right, PN junction diode can be formed in different methods. There are different methods to form a PN junction diode. Now, I am not going to focus on methods, but let us see formation of PN junction diode. Then we will go for working of PN junction diode. In that methods, just a few methods are mentioned: ground junction method, fused method, and diffusion method. When it comes to the ground junction method, for example, simply they will take a pure semiconductor material, either silicon or germanium. To the pure silicon material, one side they are going to add trivalent impurities, so that when we are adding trivalent impurities, p-type semiconductor will be developed, and other side they are going to add pentavalent impurities. When we add pentavalent impurities on other side, n-type semiconductors are going to develop. In such a way, the PN junction diode is going to be developed. And when it comes to the fused method or diffusion method, in these two methods, they are going to take both p-type and n-type semiconductors. They keep those two semiconductors in contact and they apply high heat treatment. In such a way, they are going to form a PN junction diode. So, whatever that method, when a PN junction diode is formed, there exists diffusion process. Before going to the diffusion process, once again, let us recall what are the charge carriers in p-type and n-type semiconductors, and what are the energy level diagrams in p-type and n-type semiconductors. Now, when it comes to the p-type semiconductors, here you can see left side image. In these p-type semiconductor, of course, you all know that when we are adding trivalent impurities to the pure semiconductors, the p-type semiconductors are going to develop. Those trivalent impurities are also called as acceptor impurities. Acceptor impurities means those impurities are going to accept electrons. Whenever those impurities accept electrons, those impurity atoms are going to behave like negative ions. Apart from these impurity atoms, there will be mother atoms, but which are electrically neutral. So that in p-type semiconductors, impurity atoms are going to behave like negative ions. And apart from these ions, obviously we all know that there exists majority charge carriers holes and minority charge carriers electrons. I hope it's clear about p-type. Now when it comes to these n-type semiconductor, right side image, when we are adding pentavalent impurities. Pentavalent impurities are also called as donor impurities, so that those pentavalent impurity atoms are going to donate electrons to that semiconductor material. After donating, those impurity atoms are going to behave like positive ions. And apart from these ions, there exists free electrons, majority free electrons, minority free holes. Of course, these electrons and holes are mobile charge carriers, but these ions are immobile, which are fixed, which cannot move. But these are the charged particles in p-type and n-type semiconductor. Now, when it comes to that energy level diagram, of course, in p-type semiconductor, apart from the valency band and conduction band, I hope you all know that there exists acceptor energy level, which is near to valency band. So, the Fermi level is in between valency band and acceptor energy level at 0 Kelvin temperature, so that the Fermi level in p-type semiconductor is near to valency band. I hope you can see here. Again, in n-type semiconductor, of course, apart from valency band and conduction band, there exists donor energy level near to conduction band, and the Fermi level exists in between donor level and conduction band in case of n-type semiconductor. That is, the Fermi level is near to conduction band in case of n-type semiconductor. These are individual, that means charge carriers in individual p-type and n-type semiconductors, and energy level diagrams in p-type and n-type semiconductors. Now, let us see the formation of p-n junction diode. Now, when it comes to the p-n junction diode, as I told you, whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductors, that means whatever that method, p-n junction diode can be formed in different methods. Whatever the method, whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductor, immediately there exists diffusion process. Diffusion process in the sense, flow of charge carriers from high concentration to low concentration. Here you can see in p-type majority charge carriers, holes. In n-type minority charge carriers, holes are minority charge carriers. Again, in n-type electrons are majority charge carriers. In p-type electrons are minority charge carriers. So that whenever the p-n junction diode is formed, holes try to move from p-type to n-type side and electrons try to move from n-type to p-type side. That is called diffusion process. Due to the diffusion process at the junction, I hope you got my point. Holes are moving from p-type to n-type, electrons are moving from n-type to p-type. Due to the diffusion of these charge carriers at the junction, up to certain region, there was any free charge carriers because of electron hole recombination, because holes are coming from p-type to n-type and electrons are coming from n-type to p-type. So that at the junction there exists electron hole recombination. I hope you all know that hole is nothing but electron vacancy. Whenever that electron occupies in that electron vacancy, that electron is going to become a bounded electron. It won't be behaves like a free electron. That's why at the junction up to certain region there wasn't any free charge carriers, but in that region p-type side there exists immobile negative ions, and n-type side there exists immobile positive ions. This entire region is called depletion region. Because of these ions, in this region some potential will be developed. Because of these immobile ions, some potential will be developed. That potential is known as barrier potential. Once the barrier potential is developed, further diffusion process will be stopped. Then we said that p-n junction diode is formed. Again I repeat, once the barrier potential is developed, further diffusion process will be stopped, because if holes try to come from p-type to n-type side, these positive ions are going to repel. If electrons try to come from n-type to p-type side, these negative ions are going to repel. So that once the barrier potential develops, diffusion process will be stopped. Then we say that p-n junction diode is formed. In such a way, the p-n junction diode is going to be formed. I hope it's clear. Now, this is what I explained. That entire thing is this one. Now, let us see energy level diagram of p-n junction diode. Now, anyhow, this is a circuit symbol to that p-n junction diode. Arrow side is p-type and the line side is n-type. This is circuit symbol of p-n junction diode. Now, let us come to that energy level diagram, which is very important. Now, when it comes to that energy level diagram, in previous slide itself I shown. Here, this is individual p-type energy level diagram, and this is individual n-type energy level diagram. I hope here you can see valency band. Higher level of valency band is nothing but here I represented as EVP, higher energy level of valency band, and lower energy level of conduction band is nothing but ECP in p-type. In such a way I represented, and this is Fermi level in p-type. Fermi level in p-type is near to valency band, Fermi level in n-type is near to conduction band. These are the energy level diagrams of individual p-type, individual n-type. Now, whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductor, the energy level diagram will be like this. Why means due to the diffusion process. I hope I already explained. Whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductor, there exists diffusion process. Means holes are moving from n-type to p-type. P-type to n-type. Electrons are moving from n-type to p-type. So that due to the diffusion process, at the junction there exists certain region. In that region there wasn't any free charge carriers, but in that region there will be immovable ions. Due to that ion, some potential will be developed. That's why whenever the p-n junction layer is formed, energy level diagram also changes. How that energy level diagram is going to be changes means, here you can see these are individual p-type and n-type semiconductor energy level diagrams. Now whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductors, ECN, here you can see ECN is nothing but lower energy level of conduction band in n-type semiconductor. This ECN is going to be shifted down. Right. Whenever a p-n junction layer is formed, we all know that due to the diffusion process, charge carriers are going to be loose. So after the formation of p-n junction diode, in between ECP and ECN, there exists some energy difference, that is nothing but E0. That E0 is nothing but EV0. V0 is nothing but barrier potential. That is, if it is possible to supply EV0 energy, then we can move that electron from n-type to p-type. Same similarly, the energy difference between EVP and EVN, again it is E0. E0 is nothing but EV0. So if it is possible to supply that amount of energy to the p-n junction layer, holes can move from p-type to n-type. In such a way, the energy level diagram will be formed after the formation of p-n junction layer. I hope it's clear about energy level diagram of p-n junction layer. Now, let us go to that working of p-n junction diode. When it comes to the working of p-n junction diode, generally we need to supply some amount of energy. That is, without giving any bias, some energy is nothing but external voltage. Without giving any external voltage, there is no flow of charge carriers. If there is no flow of charge carriers, there is no current flow across p-n junction layer. That's why in unbiased condition, there is no any current flow across p-n junction layer because of depletion reason. Now, in order to get current flow, there are two types of biases to the p-n junction layer, which are nothing but forward bias, and second one is reverse bias, which is nothing but working of p-n junction layer. Now let us see the forward bias of p-n junction diode. Forward bias of p-n junction diode. Now when it comes to the forward bias of p-n junction diode is nothing but this is p-n junction diode. Now in this p-n junction diode, if p-type side is connected to the positive terminal of battery, if n-type side is connected to the negative terminal of battery. If p-type side is connected to the positive terminal of battery, if n-type side is connected to the negative terminal of battery, then we said that p-n junction ID is connected in forward bias. p-n junction ID is connected in forward bias. In this forward bias condition, now let us see how there exists current flow across p-n junction diode. Now when it comes to this forward bias condition, of course, p-type side is connected to the positive terminal, n-type side is connected to the negative terminal. We all know that from negative terminal, electrons are coming, from positive terminal, positive charges are coming. Whatever it may be, when electrons are coming from negative terminal, here in n-type semiconductor, here you can see in n-type semiconductor, red circles are nothing but free holes, free electrons. So that in n-type semiconductor already electrons are majority charge carriers. And by applying bias also, electrons are coming into these n-type semiconductor. That means electrons are coming with increasing forwards. Electrons are also increasing due to the in between like charges. I hope you all know that there exists repulsion force. So in between these electrons and electrons in n-type semiconductor, there exists repulsion. Due to the repulsion, electrons try to move towards barrier. At the same time, again, from in p-type side also positive charges coming. In p-type side there exists a large number of free holes. Free holes are having imaginary positive charge. Again in between positive and positive there exists repulsion force. Due to the repulsion, holes try to move towards barrier. In such a way, when we are increasing forward voltage, up to certain voltage there is any current flow. So that voltage is called new voltage, that I will explain in VI characteristic circuit graph. So up to certain forward voltage there is any current flow, but from certain forward voltage onwards, there exists large current flow across p-n junction diode. That is, if the forward voltage is equal to the barrier voltage, here you can see these both voltages, barrier potential is also voltage, and barrier potential is also voltage, and applied voltage is also voltage. Here you can see both are in opposite polarity. For negative side positive and positive side negative. So both are in opposite polarity. So if that applied forward voltage is equal to that barrier potential, then the net potential at the junction becomes zero. If there is any barrier potential, then charge carriers start flow easily. That's why if the applied forward voltage is equal to the barrier potential, then there exists large current flow across PN junction diode. That barrier potential is very less, so that if that applied forward voltage is more than that barrier potential, there exists large current flow across PN junction. That's why forward biased PN junction diode offers low resistance. That is, there exists high current flow across PN junction diode when it is connected in forward bias. I hope it's clear. Now, when it comes to that energy level diagram, same way, similar to that previous diagram. So, after applying forward bias, if that forward voltage is more than mu voltage, we all know that electrons are moving from n-type to p-type, holes are moving from p-type to n-type. That's why that ECN is going to be shifted upward, and same way, here also EVP is going to be shifted downwards because holes are moving from p-type to n-type. So whenever that EVP is shifted downwards, EVP, ECN shifted upwards, their Fermi levels are also going to be shifted. And one thing, let me show that energy level diagram. This is energy level diagram of PN junction diode. Once the PN junction diode is formed, both Fermi levels, p-type and n-type Fermi levels get equal energy. Both p-type and n-type Fermi levels get equal energy. So when PN junction diode is connected in forward bias, due to the diffusion of charge carriers, that means electrons are moving from n-type to p-type, holes are moving from p-type to n-type. So due to that flow of charge carriers, these Fermi levels are going to be separated, and in between these Fermi levels, there exists some energy difference. That energy difference is exactly equal to EVF. Whatever the forward voltage we applied, into multiplied with charge. This is the energy difference of these two Fermi energy levels when a PN junction diode is connected in forward bias. This is about forward biased PN junction diode. Now, when it comes to the reverse bias in the sense, same similar way, p-type is connected to the negative terminal of battery, n-type is connected to the positive terminal of battery. When a p-type is connected to the negative terminal, negative charges are coming. When positive terminal is connected to n-type side, positive charges are coming. Anyhow, here negative charges, in p-type majority charge carries holes. So in between negative and positive, there exists attraction. So holes try to move away from the junction. Here also electrons try to move away from the junction when a PN junction diode is connected to reverse bias. That's why when a PN junction diode is connected to reverse bias, depletion region width is going to increases. If depletion region width increases, barrier potential also increases. That's why reverse bias PN junction diode offers high resistance. High resistance in the sense current flow is very less. Though the PN junction diode is connected in reverse bias, there exists very less current flow due to minority charge carriers. I hope you can see here in p-type minority charge carriers electrons, in p-type minority charge carriers electrons, in n-type minority charge carriers holes. To these minority charge carriers, whatever the bias we applied, that bias behaves like a forward bias, because here electrons, from here also electrons are coming. So in between electron and electron repulsion force. So due to minority charge carriers, there exists very less current flow when a PN junction diode is connected in reverse bias. That is in microamperes. That's why in reverse biased condition, there exists very less current flow. That's the reverse biased PN junction diode offers high resistance. I hope it's clear. Now when it comes to that energy level diagram, same way, when it comes to that energy level diagram, here ECN is going to be shifted downwards because in reverse bias, ECN is going to be shifted downwards and EVP is going to be shifted upwards. This is the energy level diagram of reverse biased PN junction diode offers, reverse biased PN junction diode. Same way, Fermi levels are also going to be divided, and the energy difference between Fermi levels is EVR. That is the energy difference between Fermi energy levels in p-type and n-type. This is the energy level diagram of reverse biased PN junction diode. Reverse biased PN junction diode. I hope it's clear. Now let us see VI characteristics of PN junction diode. This is very important concept. Anyhow, without that means if we didn't connect, if we didn't give any external voltage, that means if there is any bias, that will be called zero bias. In zero bias, there is no current flow across PN junction head. Now in order to get current flow across PN junction head, as I told you, there are two biases, forward bias and reverse bias. Forward bias in the sense P type is connected to the positive terminal, N type is connected to negative terminal. I hope you all know that in forward bias condition, if that applied voltage is more than new voltage, there exists large current flow, so that forward bias PN junction offers low resistance. Now in that forward bias condition, let me explain from this graph. In that forward bias condition, here we draw the graph between voltage and current. Voltage on x-axis, current on y-axis. Now in forward bias condition, when we are increasing voltage, here you can see when we are increasing voltage up to certain voltage there is any current flow. Up to certain voltage there is any current flow because of barrier potential, and that voltage is less than barrier potential voltage. So that up to certain voltage there is any current flow. If that applied voltage is equal to the barrier potential, then what happens? At the junction, barrier potential disappears. If the barrier potential disappears, charge carriers can flow easily from P type to N type and N type to P type. So that there exists large current flow exists. So from that voltage is nothing but new voltage or threshold voltage. And I hope you all know that familiar semiconductor metals are silicon and germanium. For silicon, new voltage is approximately 0.7 voltage, and for germanium, new voltage is approximately equal to 0.3 voltage. This is in forward bias, right? Now, when it comes to the reverse bias, reverse bias in the sense, P type is connected to negative terminal, N type is connected to positive terminal. As I explained, when a PN junction is connected in reverse bias, depletion barrier width is going to be increases. If the depletion barrier width increases, barrier potential also increases. If barrier potential increases, there is no chance of law of charge carriers. So that in reverse bias condition there is no current flow, but to that minority charge carriers, as I explained, to that minority charge carriers, that reverse bias behaves like a forward bias, so that there exists very less current flow. In reverse bias, that is measured in microamperes. So now, though the PN junction head is connected in reverse bias, from this graph you can see, though the PN junction head is connected in reverse bias, here you can see voltage negative, reverse bias in the sense here I am taking negative. So voltage negative, current negative, reverse direction. So when we are increasing reverse voltage, there exists very small current flow. You can see this graph, there exists very small current flow up to certain voltage. That is due to minority charge carriers, as I explained. But from certain voltage onwards, there exists large current flow, though the PN junction head is connected in reverse bias. That voltage is called breakdown voltage or Zener voltage. What is going on means, in reverse bias, when we are increasing voltage, but there exists very small current flow. In that condition, in that PN junction head, temperature is going to be increased. Because no current flow, we are increasing voltage. Temperature is going to be increased. With increase in temperature in that semiconductor metal, there exists lattice vibrations. Due to that lattice vibrations, free charge carriers are going to be generated. Whenever the free charge carriers are generated, there exists large current flow, though the PN junction head is connected in reverse bias. That voltage is called breakdown voltage or Zener voltage. These are the VI characteristics of PN junction head. I hope it's clear about VI characteristics. Now, when it comes to the applications of PN junction head, as I told you, PN junction head is a basic device in semiconductors. So PN junction heads are variously used in different electrical circuits, and PN junction head is used as rectifier. Rectifier circuit is nothing but which convert AC to DC. In that rectifier circuits, PN junction heads are used, and again PN junction head can be used as a solar cell. I hope many of you know about solar cell, which is a device which convert light energy into electrical energy. But In this case, solar cell no need, that means that for the working of solar cell, we no need to give any bias. That is a different case. In coming classes, in coming lectures, I will explain about solar cell construction and working. So, solar cell is nothing but a PN junction diode, and again, when the diode is in forward bias, it can be used as LED, light emitting diode. So, light emitting diode is also a PN junction diode, and again, photodiodes. Photodiode is also PN junction. These are some examples of or applications of PN junction diode. Now, let us summarize today's lecture. In this lecture, we discussed about formation of PN junction diode, that is, whenever we combine p-type and n-type semiconductor, what is the process going on, that is diffusion process, and how the barrier potential develop. And we discussed about working of PN junction diode, that is, when a PN junction diode is connected in forward bias, what is going on, when a PN junction diode is connected in reverse bias, what is going on, and finally, we discussed about VA characteristics of PN junction diode. I hope it's clear about working and characteristics of PN junction diode. Thank you.